Let's
Are you close to Hershey?
Okay, we're starting, guys.
couple hours.
Well, welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Mixed Surfaces. We're back here after Arias been traveling around the high plains, adventuring, racing a little bit, having a little bit of fun. Got a guest today, Mr. Daniel Flaherty, straight out of Iowa cornfields, coming down here to visit me in Tennessee. We've had a couple good days here on the bike and done a couple other things, but we're gonna hit some fun topics today. We're gonna talk a little bit about some World Tour racing, some statements made in the Dauphiné by some of the favorites, some American heroes winning some races or winning a race, stage of a race, I suppose, and then hit some tech. We got some new releases from Garmin, both on the wearable side and on the computer head unit side, and then hit a couple other things, like talk about the Tour Divide coming up, right? Like lots of things that we want to hit there, and we've got some experience. So stay tuned. Of course, we say we're going to hit these things. More likely than not, we won't even talk about them. But if you want to hear something specifically, definitely leave a comment while we're here live streaming and help us out a little bit. But thanks for coming on. Definitely want to thank our sponsors.
Yes.
Olive and say it for me,
Reeland.
Yeah. What was it?
Reeland.
Man,
Yeah.
I'm not hyped on the.
I need to get those samples for you guys. I need to get you guys the samples.
Talk about it, but
yeah,
we're always
you
happy
like
to
it.
support. But yeah, so we'll kick it off. Arias, where you been? You're back home now.
Man, I had to pull an overnighter, man, to get here. Well, actually, it wasn't an overnighter, but we started like driving at 8 in the morning from Spearfish. And you know, the Bigfoot, you can only go maybe 70 if you're really feeling lucky. So
that's a big drive. That's a long day. Yeah.
It's a 800 and some miles, 854 miles or something.
Where the heck is Spearfish? Is that Montana? Is that Idaho?
No, South Dakota.
It's New England.
You know,
New England, Hawaii.
Yeah,
it is beautiful out there, guys.
So far away. Yeah, what's out there?
They had the Pine Island Gravel Odyssey. There is actually some people that Ivan was doing the 100-miler that knew Jason. Jason, they knew you and Derek.
Oh yeah. Who'd you run into?
There were 5 guys. Ivan did. There were 5 dudes. You make the video. You make the cut.
Sweet.
In spirit. Yeah. So it's pretty cool. But it was a gravel race. That's where they have the Dakota 5-0.
What's that?
Also, it's
It's
mountain
not
bike
the
race.
Dakota 5-0 anymore.
Yeah, what's that? They changed the name.
Oh, Derek just told me because we just talked about it.
It is just fantastic. Like old school roads. Like they'll, 50 mil or bigger. Like I saw so many people puncture. So.
Is it more of a like cross country hardtail mountain bike race, like on double track, like Leadville, or is it like a tree?
The Dakota 5-0?
Yeah, the Dakota 5 or whatever what's it called now?
The Dakota 5-0 is a full-on mountain bike race.
Yeah, you need a full squish for sure.
And the Pine Island, which used to be the Gold
Rack. Yeah,
they changed the name, and so that's just I think isn't it an out and back?
Yeah,
like up the train tracks and back down the train tracks.
Yeah, it's beautiful, man. Like one of the best places I've ridden a bike, to be honest.
That's cool.
Yeah. And I've ridden like everywhere, and this place is cool, like really cool.
Yeah.
But they have long climbs, man. 23-mile climb. Jesus, we gained I think almost like 2,200 in those miles. It was insane. It's good though. Yeah.
It's not very. I mean, elevation wise, it's higher than Iowa, obviously.
Yeah.
It's not like way up there.
No, it's the highest that we got.
5,000?
6,200 according to Garmin and Hammerhead. We got about, and the 100 milers got even higher than that. We started at like 2,800. So the first 23 miles, you just kind of keep going through the canyon. It's beautiful. Bears.
Did you see a bear?
Did you see a bear?
No, I didn't, but there was people that we ran into that had just seen one. Yeah, so they're out there.
Yeah,
but if you're in the group,
Lily and Dan were coming down to visit here. We got bears down here, and there was one wandering around one of the courses or one of the mountain bike areas, and I told Lily about it, and she was afraid, and I was like, don't worry, you just gotta like pedal faster than one person. And she was like, well, that person is me. So fortunately, no bears down here so far.
There was a little black bear at our camp over the weekend.
Really?
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
walked right in the backyard. It's about as big as a dog. He's about maybe 100 pounds. Huh?
You sure it wasn't a dog?
It was not a dog. It was definitely a bear. It was probably a year-old cub.
All by itself?
Yeah. So and I know this from bear experts, when they're about a year old, the mother kicks them out of the brood because she's going to have another litter, So now they're all like 1-year-old teenagers out running around, goofing off, eating everything.
Gramin, you're a little bit running late there, letting your daughter go fend for herself. Yeah, she's your first one is already past 1, so
yeah. Trust me. If my 3-year-old daughter had her way, she would move out and hitchhike around the country right now. She wants nothing to do with me. She's a feral beast. I love her, but she's a feral animal, right? No doubt.
So were there a lot of people out there? And
so the 100-miler, I think, had about 300, I'd say.
Yeah.
And the 70-miler, I would say, we were about 200. And then it was a 45-mile also. But man, it was fantastic. You remember the mini pumps that we were just talking about? I think grab the one you have the side class or whatever. We come up, this guy is riding 36s.
Whoa.
On a nice bike. I think it was a Crocs actually. I'm like, what are you doing? Anyway, he had flooded. No wonder. So he's like, I'm just going to be done. I'm like, don't you have a plug kit? He's like, I only have it on my mountain bike. I'm like, all right, we'll help you out. And he's like, no, really, guys, I'm like this. He's like, I'll just walk. I'm like, you got 7-mile hike to get back to the aid station. I'm like, we can plug your tire right now. Another guy stopped that had a pump like yours, your little mini pump. We got him back and running. But he was all out of CO2s.
Yeah,
kept on putting CO2 in.
Yeah. Those CO2s, like, they're great, but like for one, you have no idea how much you're putting in, and two, like, at least half the time, I either freeze my hand off because I take my glove off and like give myself frostbite, or I don't get it on there, and then all of a sudden it's dead at that point. But I love those little pumps. Trek is releasing or has released their own.
Really?
Little pump as well. I don't know if it's like fully on the market yet, or if I'm even supposed to say anything about that, but I'm pretty sure that they came out with one. And then Silka announced that the one that you couldn't get in the US is now available in the US.
So I checked on their website because I've been stalking. They do have the smaller of the two.
So does one have like a long tube to it? Because I felt like I saw like some video.
It's removable. It's removable. Part of the kit. Yeah.
Yeah, that looks.
So if you don't like to just screw the whole pump, then you could just attach that tube thing.
That's cool.
Man.
What other tech did you see out there? I mean, was there anything cool? I mean, there's some stuff that's been released, which we can talk about, but you've been on the ground like at some of these big events. Like, did you see anything cool?
No. So this event, no expo.
No expo.
No, they're just kind of old school.
How many people had shocks on the front?
Actually, there was a few mountain bikes. Probably in my race, I probably saw at least a dozen.
Mountain bikes?
Yeah.
But how many gravel shocks?
There was a guy I rode with that had the stem, like the suspension stem like I have, but that's it. I didn't see any gravel forks or anything.
Yeah.
Dude, I think I know why. I think I know why that is, because like I think right now no bikes are being spec'd besides like what the Canyon Grail I think is like they spec that. Didn't they spec that a version with a fork on it that came from like, yeah. But like they're the only company that's really doing that. And I think if you look at the average gravel rider and gravel user, they're like not I don't think they're like confident enough to go through and say like, hey, can I swap a fork here? And do I want to swap a fork? Like, what do I do with my old fork?
I think Canada offers one of their gravel bikes,
that's
that lefty.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the top stone. Yeah.
I'm curious if
Well-
you won't start seeing like stigmatas, like with a fork option, like 2 different spec builds. Like that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, because then the stigmata has already decent clearance. And if you put a bigger fork on there, then even a bigger tire up front, that'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah, I wonder how hard that is though, like from a production stance. I mean, Dan, you build bikes. Like, if you had like, would it be that difficult to like spec some with forks and spec some
without.
without, and then like?
Well, I mean, if they're just, I mean, these places have the huge production capacity for people to put everything in boxes. So I don't think getting it into the box is the hard part. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Canyon's doing it, and then Topstone with the lefty. So they're obviously being able to put it in their production flow.
Yeah.
But the extra QC you have to do, extra warranty stuff. The suspension fork should probably get pretty expensive. So I don't know if they're ready to roll everything out yet. I know it seems like most brands have one. Most brands that'll make suspension forks have something. So I don't know. It could be soon. It could be a while. I don't know if it's so much of a fad or not.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's less of a fad than it was, because so many guys at Unbound ran like 45s, and then they ran a suspension fork as opposed to running the classic 2.2s with a rigid fork. I think that's an interesting transition.
And I honestly think it's actually a fantastic idea that the Kenyon is coming out with a fork, for a gravel bike. I feel like here in Iowa, maybe we don't benefit as much from that setup. But if you're like where you are, Pacific Northwest, where they have a variety of trails or riding, surfaces that you don't want to ride a mountain bike, you want a gravel bike, but then a low suspension will make things a lot easier. So I think people kind of think it's a fad, but I think there is a use case for sure if you're in the right place.
No, I
If you
totally
live in
agree. I
Iowa.
mean, like even I think in Iowa it would make sense, like especially for some of these like longer, like 200-mile races. Like, I mean, I've never done a 200-mile gravel race, but I imagine like by the end of it, your wrists and your hands are just like
Done.
right?
That's why you need aero bars,
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, it's such a change. But
I honestly don't know. I think I could. I think I'll be so much more fatigued if I did Unbound 200 without aero bars.
yeah. What do you think?
I just feel like-
what if Redshift made some aero bars that like flexed or something like that? How comfy would that be?
So with my setup, right? Because I have the suspension stem. So with that and the bars and the aero bars, when you are like really like aeroed out, you'd move the suspension a lot more than you normally would if you're a little bit farther back. So it ended up being fantastic, because of some of the rougher stuff. I didn't have to like get back in the drops or something. I would just stay up there.
Sure.
So yeah, pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. Jason, what's or I don't know who dropped it in the notes, but there's a new fork from DT Swiss that has like rebound adjustment on it for a gravel fork. Who dropped that in there?
I did. Yeah, because I wanted to ask you guys, have you got because I think the feature that they have is you can adjust rebound on their fork. On like Cane Creek, that Fox 30, whatever, 34, that is for the gravel specific. I guess like maybe that one you can, but all the other competitors you can't adjust the rebound. What is that?
Rebound's just how fast the shock decompresses. When it compresses, it's compression, and then as it springs back, you can make it go back fast and it'll bounce, or slow and it'll just kind of like. So it's a nice little feature.
Yeah, so they say, the first ones to make that kind of fork for gravel specific that has that feature.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. It sounded important.
I think that would be such a difficult, maybe not difficult, but like it's pretty necessary, because like if you're riding over washboard, like gravel, and like you need your wheel to be planted. Like the idea, like with rebound, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jason or Dan or anybody, but like rebound is the idea is you want to keep your wheel planted. Like you don't want your fork to compress and then like either stay compressed and you end up like bodying it out. Like you want it to decompress with the idea of like it's always maintaining contact with the ground, so that way you're like getting the most efficiency out of your wheel, right? Do I have that wrong?
No, that's right.
Yeah. So that's cool.
I don't know. It's nice.
Yeah.
Rebound. I never mess with mine.
For me, rebound like is maybe less important than lockout is if I'm riding a gravel fork. Like, I feel like I want to be able to lock it out and open it up.
I think if you're riding a suspension fork on your gravel bike, why lock it out? I mean, just get a rigid fork.
So I could sprint for like 180th place. You know.
Well, there you go.
Well, that reminds me, I'm still undefeated in the field sprint.
Sweet.
So far.
Yeah. This time it was against a lady, super strong rider, riding the cracks, and you know I had to put down about 1,000 watts to break free. Otherwise, sitting at 700 was not shaking her. So I still won, man.
I think your Strava said 1,800 watts.
That was another climb. Speaking of climbs, did you see how Quinn Simmons attacked those two fellers on that climb?
Dude, he finally made it count. Like it's about time. He's tried. I honestly, I was watching that race today, and I always see Quinn Simmons in the breakaway, and I ask myself like, why is he in the breakaway? Because he's strong enough to hold with like maybe not all the favorites, but like if it's the Tour de Swiss, right? So it's not like the who's who of everybody. And I always wonder why he doesn't back himself to like ride out of the peloton. And today I turned it on and I saw him in the breakaway and I saw the time gap going down and I was like, here's another Quinn Simmons failed attempt at the breakaway. And then honestly, I think his descending is what dropped those guys. I don't know if you guys watched that last descent, but
I did.
Was railing those.
Yeah, he was. I mean, he was so close to those guardrails. I'm like, man, one mistake and you lock those disc brakes and they lock you out, you're done.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that was a solid downhill for sure.
Well, I mean, he went over the top with like 30 seconds with a full peloton chasing him, and he brought it out to like 45 seconds, which is like a lot of that happened with like Group 2 syndrome and everything. But the other person, like I don't know who in the audience like really follows like World Tour cycling, but some really cool tactics happen there. If you have a chance to go back and watch that race, like Quinn Simmons did a lot. He was strong, and he broke away. But his teammate Juan Pedro Lopez, tiny little like 140-pound climber, who's like he's good, but every time that someone tried to go chase Quinn Simmons, he would be right on their wheel. And like right when they went to say, "Hey, help me out and get there," he'd be like, "Nah, it's my teammate." And he shut down so many attacks. Like go back and watch if you want to see like what good teamwork looks like for like a breakaway. That was it. It was really impressive. I thought. Well,
that's kind of like my riding style already.
Yeah.
That's how I kind of roll. Man, I tried to hang with the Frank group on this past race. Didn't work out very well.
You said you hung for a while, didn't you?
For like 5 miles, but then it was 23. It was still 18 miles left of uphill, and like I felt like every 5 miles it was just like kicking in another gear and another gear, and I knew that there's no way I was gonna be able to do 300 watts for that much time.
Yeah, no, thank you. In the heat.
Yeah.
So no, thank you.
No way.
No way. Well, what else is going on?
Well,
man.
Huh?
The Twin Tide.
That's right. That's getting ready to
only the most toughest, hardest race in the world. I did it, so I know.
You did it.
Yeah.
So tell us about it. What do we need to know? I don't know anything about it other than that it's like very impressive and a guy in a pink skin suit set the record. That's all I know.
Tour Divide started, I don't know, maybe 20 years ago. From Banff, Canada to Antelope Wells, New Mexico, 2,700 miles, 2,800 miles, somewhere around in there, depending on the year. 170,000 feet of climbing, unsupported.
Jeez.
Ride your own pace.
So when it's sorry, I actually do have a question about this. When it's unsupported, are you allowed to like have a credit card and go buy hotels?
Yeah.
So you can do that, but you
Yeah.
can't have someone like buy a hotel for or like rent a hotel for you or anything like that.
I mean, I don't know.
Oh, it's a spirit.
I don't know what it's a weird
I
the
guess it's of the Tour Divide.
the race culture on Tour Divide. I don't know. They get kind of weird about what's allowed and what's not allowed.
Yeah, I think they have too many little micro rules. You know,
For I guess the rules only really matter for the people up front, but it's an underground race. There's no entry fee. There's no prize at the end. I guess there is a prize at the end if you win it, because you're going to get pretty much nationally, worldly recognized for it. And there's going to be podcasts in your name and, other stuff. Probably get some sort of biking sponsor. But, yeah, they want you to stay away from any kind of help that nobody else on the trail can get. So if you got somebody following you along in a camper, passing you goose out the window, that's no good. But you can go in and get a hotel. In fact, the leader right now, the guy racing in first place, Robin Kim Pearl, I think his name is. Dude, he's like sleeping in hotels every night, but it's not every night. It's like every 2 nights or something, or they're doing. This year's the first year somebody broke 300 miles in the first day.
So that's interesting to me because yeah, that's a crazy amount, but like it's interesting to me because like I think Lachlan's approach to some of these ultra endurance feats is that he like focuses almost completely on recovery. And so he makes sure that he sleeps like what if it's like 5 or 6 hours a night?
4.
Okay. So like is that strategy starting to be like pretty like
it is all on right now.
Yeah.
So the first guy, first off, this is a great year to watch it or to check it out because it's the fastest conditions ever. There's like no snowpack. The weather's been great. They've even had kind of a tailwind.
Wow.
So it's relatively dry. They're just railing. So this guy, most of the major players are sleeping around 4 hours a night. They say that's like the optimum. You can go less, but it's going to affect you later on. So they're on 2 or 3 of them are on the course record, like ahead of the course record pace.
Where are they right now? I see you got it pulled up. Yeah, it's kind of small.
Dude, they're down in like bottom of Montana already, They're like
so
getting out of Montana today.
That's the worst of it, right? Like once you get through Montana.
Yeah,
Montana's the biggest state. It's like 700 miles. It is a tough state. They say that as just a regular participant, any participant, if you can make it through Montana, the chances of you finishing the whole way increase like 75%.
Did you feel that way?
The first time I didn't make it out of Montana.
That's why it was buried.
But the second time that was in my head, and I just said, all right, we just got to get out of Montana.
Yeah.
And dude, once you're out of Montana, you're like, well, yeah, we're in this. I'm doing this. This is the thing I'm doing. I'm going to go to the end, and that's it. So I guess by the time you get out of Montana, if you don't have any like crazy aches and pains or mechanicals, you're just going to carry on to the finish. But Banff to the border is very remote. It's like 2 kind of a half a resupply-ish on the first day, and then 1 resupply on maybe the second day-ish, and that's it. So you got 300 miles to get to the border with one resupply.
Do you vary how much gear you're like? I mean, obviously, like if the resupplies are further apart, but like I assume you're also trying to cut as much weight as you possibly can. So like, do you really?
Some
vary?
people are.
Yeah, I guess so. Like, do you like feel like you varied how much your bike weighed like between segments, like based on like what your next resupply was? Were you like cutting it short, or were you just like, I want to make sure I got everything that I need?
No, man, I had what I eat, the bag tuna. You know, they come in
Like
a little baggie.
like the
Yeah.
yeah.
I had like 6 of those on my bike at any point in time.
Okay,
Because that was just calorie, you know, not a lot of calories, but a lot of protein.
sure.
You know?
Keep you from getting like rhabdo.
And then just
Yeah.
anything you could stuff in nooks and crannies, you know, you have like chips here and you got a can. I like to have a can of soda on the bike. It was a lot of weight and it was extra, but it was nice treat at night to have like a good can of Coke or something. I got really into vanilla Coke.
Ooh, vanilla Coke.
Yeah.
Not a fan. Classic Coke for me.
Man,
small can of classic Coke. Like, I could live.
Yeah,
with that.
vanilla Coke. I mean, like that's too, you know, dramatic.
So there's a bunch of them that are on pace to do like around 13 to 14 days, maybe even shorter, which is kind of insane.
Because this guy is already 11. When did they start? Saturday?
Friday morning.
Friday morning.
Last Friday morning, yeah.
This guy is already 1,100 miles. I think the Robin guy, right? He's
Yeah.
already in first place.
Who is this?
1,100
guy?
miles.
Like, is he a known like quantity, or is he like
Yes.
out of nowhere?
Yes. No, he's a known quantity.
What's
All
he
the
won
guys,
before?
they're all, most of them are Europeans.
Yeah,
Euros. It's
Except
like
this
Unbound.
guy's
Euros are coming over and just
The
crushing
Euros
it.
crushed us in Unbound, and they're crushing us.
They did, didn't they?
Yeah, they crushed us.
Must be, you know.
So
Yeah.
Lael, the other big name, Lael Wilcox, she's in there. She's in the top like 10, I think. She's somewhere around in there. She's second for the ladies, second or third or first for the ladies.
I could find her.
So like poll the group right here. Is anybody are you gonna do it again, Jason? Or
yeah,
ever do it? Dan, you gonna do it?
Definitely.
You're gonna do it again?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like soon?
I was supposed to do it the last couple of years. You know,
That's right.
You know, I was going to do it in 2021 and COVID, and 2022 we moved. 2020 I thought about doing. I was going to try and do it. So like 3 times we just had like either moving across country or Tour Divide.
Yeah.
I was supposed to do it with Yvonne and Carol that time, but we moved.
both moving across country, just kind of in different fashions.
Yeah, and the one year was it was right as COVID was ending, and they didn't have the border open, so a bunch of people went up and just did border to border. But at the time, I was like, I'm just gonna wait until they open up and we can do the whole thing.
You gonna do it?
I would love to do something like that. Probably more as a tour, not trying to get it done in 2 weeks, which seems crazy.
Well, I did it in 25 days, and I'd like to try and go faster to see if I could break the 20-day mark, but just getting down the trail is great.
Yeah, no, that's I rode a section of it this summer, when I was supporting Yvonne. And man, some of those roads are just absolutely menaces. I just can't imagine like Montana, there's so many climbs that are brutal and so many downhills that are brutal. I just riding a section of it, I just couldn't imagine trying to do 700 miles of that.
So like what's the perfect bike? Is it like a drop bar mountain bike? Like a drop bar full suspension, like super caliber or something?
You know what? Most people are doing drop bar type gravel bikes, although I don't know what's going on at some people are doing them on a mountain bike with drop bars. Some people are doing flats. I don't know what's going on dude, I think one of the top 10 guys is just riding old Gary Fisher. It looks like a 26-incher.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Just proving the point.
Who was that? I need to
Oh,
find
I don't
out.
know.
Has anyone ever done it single speed?
Andrea.
Yeah,
At the
yeah,
bike shop.
Andrea. Yeah.
Andrea did it single speed.
Yeah.
At World of Bikes. Yeah.
Yes. I'm telling you, man. Did she do it like twice on single speed?
No, she just did it once.
Because is that the year you raced it too, right?
Yeah, she and I went. She was
Single speed, man.
What a badass.
She's a beast.
That's crazy.
She was all into it and there's people that do it single speed, and she was all into it. And I think at the end she was like, fuck that shit.
Well, I can imagine like you're probably feeling good when you got no mechanicals, no derailleur to worry about, like nothing like that. But like, when you get into those, like I'm sure flat, long sections where maybe you got a tailwind and you're
headwind for that matter.
Well, I mean a headwind, a headwind would suck. I would actually be more demoralized with a tailwind, I think, because
when you're
just you just like know you could be making up so much time. You could be just cruising along, but you don't have the gear to like push to do that.
So what's funny is, we would, when we started out, it was the second day we started out at Inferni at like 4 a.m, and the road was just a gradual climb, and she just started just pulling away. I'm like, how are you riding so fast? She's like, I only got one gear to push it. And her cadence was super slow, but she was just pulling away. And but then once we got to a downhill, I was like,
yeah, what are you gonna do at that point?
Yeah.
Like a pedaling downhill.
I'll catch you at the end, at the end of the day.
Yeah, Andrea is a beast, man. She's a legend.
Yeah.
To be honest. Dan, don't you have a single speed bike?
Yeah, I was riding single speed gravel for a while. Had my mountain bike set up single speed a few times I did Sugar Cube single speed. Yeah, but not a lot.
You did Core 400 single speed, right?
Yeah, I did that a couple times. That was
a couple times.
That was rough.
Casual Century gravel on single speed.
I might do it this year. A couple of years ago, I did a long one out to like Montezuma, and then came back into Williamsburg on a single speed. That was a long, like a touring year. Really slow.
I did IC gravel single speed that one year.
Oh yes, you did. Yeah, that's right.
I got second.
Wow.
I got a tumbler.
I've never ridden a single speed. I mean, I've ridden a single speed bike, but I've never like.
As an adult, yeah,
dude, it's fun.
Yeah, I feel like it would be. I really do. Like I think it would just feel like super. I mean, the bike's going to be more lightweight, more nimble. Like a hardtail. A dream bike for me would be like a hardtail titanium, single speed mountain bike. Like with like a 120 lightweight fork on the front and just something to rip around here.
Dan, what did you race Sugar Cubed on? Single speed.
I have a Norco fluid hardtail.
Oh, nice.
And I had a rigid fork on it as well, which was it was brutal.
Is that aluminum or carbon?
It's aluminum. It's pretty stiff. It's got a really small front triangle.
Yeah.
Normally I got a bag in there, but it was easier without the bag.
What size tires?
27.5 by 3.
Oh.
So like
a little bit of suspension in the tire.
Yeah, almost like
so
kind of like that.
Yeah.
How'd you like Sugar Cubed? The marathon?
I like it a lot. It was good. I haven't done it again yet. I'll bring the suspension fork next time, but I'll probably keep the single speed. It was fun.
What was the gearing?
34.22 or maybe a 36.22. I don't remember. We ran it backwards.
Okay. So I've ridden out there on my Krampus, and it's 29 by 2.6.
Okay.
Honchos, and it's it's Krampus.
Yeah.
With a rigid whiskey on the front.
Oh, nice.
And I'm running 32. I was rolling 32.15 for Coralville and 32.17 for Sugar Bottom.
Nice. Yeah, I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've done the marathon, but I never did a single speed.
Yeah, it was. I paced myself well. I was surprised. Normally, I don't do that well with pacing, but it kind of forces you to do that. You got to really pay attention.
Yeah, I've really blown myself up.
It's easy to do.
At Sugar Bottom many times. I broke a wrist at Sugar Bottom.
Oh no, where'd you do that at?
On the north side. I guess it's up kind of by the road there.
Okay.
Where it gets close to the road coming into the park.
Mm-hmm.
I forget the numbers now, but there was a spot where you kind of go up the hill and it goes like it kind of zigzag through and it opens up a little bit.
Yeah.
And I was at a time one of the Iowa City Cycling Club time trials. They used to have these years ago, and I was at the time, and I was coming up. I caught up to somebody, and I was trying to pass them, and I kind of gave a look around, and as I looked around, that trail was like all washed out, and
it's like washed deep with like the ruts, like.
And my tire went up, and then immediately slid back down, and just endoed me into the trees, and my wrist caught some saplings, and just.
That's nasty.
Yeah, it's like me today, man. I went down hard.
I'm surprised you didn't break something.
I should have crushed my collarbone today, like for the people. Like,
Ouch!
Yeah, like full.
Man,
shoulder.
yeah,
I got it
that's
down my
messed
hip.
up.
Yeah, dude.
So was it? You took the training wheels
It was
off?
right over his skill set.
Yeah.
This is what happens when you run over your skill set.
Yeah, well, yeah, overriding your ability. Yeah, so.
I said he took his training wheels off today.
No, I had those on there. That may have been the problem. It caught a leaf. No, I'm kidding. No, yeah, I went down hard. Twisted the bars, twisted the seat post. Like,
that's a good combo.
Bike was fine otherwise, though, man. But I basically was going. We were going down a little downhill out at this park out here, and it's like that specific bike park is just like very pebbly, like loose rock on top of hard dirt.
Yeah.
And I just was like going out around the left turn that was a little bit off cambered. And so I was like digging in those side knobs, and it just washed. The front wheel washed, and before I knew it, I was just like rolling. My shoe fell off. I crashed so hard.
Yeah. Whoa.
Dan walks up on me, and I'm like a shell shocked soldier. Just like I don't know what happened. And
now the question is, did you find your shoe?
Honestly, I was like looking for it. I couldn't find it anywhere, and then I did eventually find it, and we got the bars back on. We blotted up some of the blood and got my ego intact and kept riding. But yeah, and that was that was like the trail to the downhills, like not even like the fun downhills, like with like the jumps and berms and stuff. It was just like the little like intro. So
so you were just getting started.
Yeah, we were probably 2 miles and 500 feet of climbing into it. So we had just been climbing. So it was like, that's probably the big issue, is that we had just been climbing for 500 feet in the first 20 minutes. And then we finally got a little bit of a downhill, and I saw puppies and rainbows and thought I would have some fun. And then lo and behold, I'm like off the trail, like 10 yards. So it was good, but I'm gonna have some road rash. Should have broken a collarbone, but it feels okay. Like, I don't know. I think it'll be all right.
Yeah. Just a flesh wound.
Yeah, it's a big flesh wound. I got like a baseball chunk out of my hip too, so that's fun.
Oof.
Yeah.
Man,
I was trying to be a good tour guide. They came down here to visit Tennessee, so I figured I'd show them how we do it here.
Have you had any Tennessee whiskey yet?
It's like how you crash on the first downhill. That's
that's how we do it.
Get it out of the way. Show them it's okay to do it.
Just crash.
Yeah.
It's okay to crash if you're allowed.
Yeah.
You're allowed to crash.
It's all good.
Crashing is part of this running experience. Like,
Yeah,
my goodness,
it happened.
So Dan, did you guys fly your bikes there, or how did you guys drive down?
We flew down. We'd been thinking about driving when we lived in Iowa, but since we moved up to Minneapolis, it's just significantly further. The flight was not too bad. And Graham's friends of friends are letting Lily and I borrow some really, really nice bikes. She's on
Nice.
She's on a Fuel EX. Fits her really, really well. And I'm on a Linsky Livewire it's really like a really, really nice Linsky Livewire.
Wow.
I9 wheels, like Cane Creek. It's got the Cane Creek spring fork, which I don't know if anyone's ridden that before, but you would think it'd be kind of crappy, but it's actually super plush.
It feels like an air fork.
Yeah, it's really nice. And then It's cool.
Damn,
So,
when we come down, what bikes are Aria and I gonna get?
I got you a Huffy streamer, and Aria is going to be on.
Not riding that.
I
Not
don't know.
riding that.
We're going to get Aria a recumbent e-bike. That's what
next.
we're going to get in. Yeah. Yeah.
Man, no, not doing that. Not doing that.
I don't know. You play your cards
So-
right. We'll see.
So one of my good friends, you said e-bike. He just bought it's a Cervelo Ruia. It's their gravel e-bike.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty nice bike. We do sell them at the shop, and I've heard good things about them. And he just bought one for his girlfriend to try and get her out it.
Sure.
He's like, she just lit it up going up the hill.
Dude, that's
He
how it
said
goes.
he said she gave me the look back.
Like Lance looking back at Jan.
and then took off. So
That's funny.
she's loving her e-bike.
No,
He
it's,
likes it too. He's pretty, he's a pretty nice.
Can you
bike.
throw? Can you like? The only question I would ask is like, can you throw a fork on the like a shock on the front of that? Because a gravel e-bike with a shock on the front is a dangerous.
I imagine it would fit on one of those Cervelos. Yeah, is that it?
Yeah.
No, that's
No,
a Linsky he pulled up.
Yeah.
I was trying to find that live wire. I couldn't find it. Is it a mountain bike or is it a gravel bike?
It's a mountain bike.
Yeah, it's
Hardtail
mountain bike.
Let's take a look.
It's a little older, so it may not be the new versions. Yeah. But it's
Yeah, I was
sick.
gonna say I couldn't find it.
It's got good geometry to it, and like it hooks up super well. And like Dan was riding it on, like, what were those tires that you were on? Like the cross country.
Yeah, it's a recon race.
Yeah,
and
you-
it just.
Oh, yeah,
yeah. It goes downhill really well. We hit some mud, and it was perfectly fine through the mud in the middle of the corners.
Yeah, I was actually super impressed with how it was handling.
That's what I have on my new bike, the Recon Race.
Yeah.
Those are fast tires, man. Those are really
Great.
good tires.
And honestly, I'm surprised because like it's pretty jagged, chunky up here. Like lots of sidewall opportunity, like chances to cut your sidewall. And like I rode that bike for a while before I got my bike, and you can throw it around, and it those tires eat up like pretty much anything. I was very impressed with them.
Yeah, I like the I like the Aspens.
The STs or the regular Aspens?
I haven't read the STs, so I like the regulars.
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably, if I'm not racing, I'd probably run the regular Aspens too, just for a little bit more protection.
I used to do the Ardents. I was all over the Ardents for
Yeah.
how long?
So,
I haven't-
so did you guys see the new Garmin head unit?
Yeah, that thing looks pretty cool, actually.
What are your thoughts on that? I feel like it's like, they literally just put a hard case on the outside and added two profiles, and now it's a dedicated unit.
I got thoughts on it, but someone else go.
Jason probably didn't see
I
it.
didn't even see it.
All right.
No.
I think it's cool. I'll hit the highlights of what I think it's cool. I think it's cool because the mounting options are pretty sweet. Like you can say you're using it for like a gravel bike. It has like top tube, like the two bolts there.
Yes,
You can
that's
mount
cool.
it there. Like you have some options to mount it in places that aren't necessarily there. I think the other really cool feature is the GPS that it's using. So it's using like 5 gigahertz GPS as opposed
Yes.
to 1 gigahertz. So while that eats a little bit more battery, like what's nice about it is that, mountain bike trails are so twisty turny. Like you might be, pivoting within like a 3-yard radius and turning around, and it's actually going to plot that, which I think that's kind of cool to link your GPS data up with your power and things like that, so you can kind of understand. So I think that's kind of sweet. I really like the fact that it's not a touchscreen, because I hate touchscreen GPSs. I think they're silly and they don't work very well. But yeah, I think it's sweet. Price point's okay. Other than that, it's just there's some bike park features, but I don't really ride bike parks, so I don't know. I think it's pretty cool.
Airtime. And,
Yeah, airtime.
Flow.
Well, the 1040, my 1040 can do airtime.
Yeah.
Can
and
do
flow.
airtime. It doesn't do airtime very much, though, does it?
Hey, you should see me going full send, man. I get off the ground. I get about this much off the ground right there.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I like the grit number.
Yeah.
It's
What
fun
is
to-
what?
Yes.
All right. Can someone
What is
please
What the hell is
explain
grit?
what the hell is grit?
I don't know, but I like it.
Yeah, it says I got a high number and I'm feeling gritty.
No, so I think grit means just. I checked this once. I think a level of like aggression and how you corner and keep things clean. You know, like not having any rough turns and stuff. I think that's what grit is. Like if you're smooth,
maybe it
I
is.
think
Go
I
ahead.
think grit is uphill.
Uphill.
No. I think it's more about how good you
I'm
keep
looking
it.
it
Like
up.
if you're going around the corner, how many brake applications you take.
I
you
think
slow
that's
really?
flow. That's flow.
Let's find out. Let's see. Let's see if we can.
Oh, that's slow.
I'm looking.
True grit.
What is true? It's a great
True Grit.
movie.
True Grit. Isn't that a Clint Eastwood movie?
John Wayne, I thought.
Yeah, it was John.
Wasn't it?
Oh, the OG.
The OG John Wayne.
Yeah, the new one's good
I
though.
don't remember. Jeff Bridges, I think.
Jeff
is the one.
Bridges, yeah.
Funny guy.
Well,
And
ChatGPT
the True Grit, Jeff Bridges, that was fantastic.
that was great.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Well, forget
Huh?
old grit. Forget old grit. There is a new feature on this computer that does look at. I think, and I could be wrong. Like if you're in the chat and you're listening, tell me I'm wrong. That's fine. But it does a combination of you can either look at, say you're doing an enduro course or a downhill course. You can go walk those segments with the computer and like set them, and then like have that as like a recorded space, and then like there's a measurement in that it does look at like the analytics of like your performance through those segments and tell you like how you did. And I think it does that overall for all downhills. Like if you ride something enough, it will start to suss out like where the impact points as far as slowing down your run are and highlight those of like where you could improve. Like if it's over a jump or if it's through a corner, there is some sort of like downhill coaching, I think, that goes into it, but I could be wrong.
That's pretty cool. Yeah,
So,
I think
yeah.
I saw that feature.
So flow is twisty turns, how hard a trail or grit is how hard a trail is, and then how well you maintain momentum and stuff, and flow is how a brake application, that type of stuff.
But when it says how hard a trail is that looking at like what it's rated, or
I think it's just looking at like how steep it is and how fast you're
Okay.
going up it.
Well, I think
That's
the new one actually takes the new GPS takes like trail forks and trail descriptions and like
Yeah.
characteristics, and then it gives you a score, like kind of a grit score, and it's
Yeah.
looking also the technicality of things, because like you might ride a rock garden that's like false flat, or a steep something. It's very, very different riding. It's kind of cool though. I'm not gonna buy one.
I watch I have my grit and my flow numbers showed up on a lot of my rides
They can send me
on
one.
my
If
head
they send
unit.
me one, I will use it, and I'll
So do you get bummed out, Jason, if your grit is low? It looks nice.
No, I mean it depends on the trail really, but sometimes I get bummed out if it's low.
Yeah.
I don't know that it's ever been low. I mean, what's low?
Look at that. The battery life is kind of like, when you
Jason, you got
You
low
know.
grit. Low grit.
Yeah.
There's a injections for that, I think.
there might be pills too.
All those masters athletes are like, oh, my grit's low. I need some testosterone.
I'm
Now that's why Jason likes it.
I'm putting hummus
Hummus.
Hummus.
on my eggs in the morning.
There you go.
Hummus
Keep taking your olive.
for grit.
The olive oil.
Are you putting hummus on your
Actually,
eggs? Are you
no.
serious?
No, pumice for grit.
Pumice.
Oh,
I
Hummus.
thought you said hummus too.
what's pumice?
Pumice is
Rock.
just like a scrubbing. It's like sand. It's
Yeah. It's an igneous rock, Arias.
Yes.
It floats. It's one of the few rocks in the world that floats.
Okay.
I got you.
Why
It's
you
fine.
put that on your eggs?
because it's
For
pumice.
grit.
There's to give me grit.
grits.
Oh, I
and
see.
then you take the olive.
Now
for
I
the
get
flow.
it now.
You take the olive for the flow.
Yes.
You know, so you're nice and smooth.
On the way out.
Yeah, for sure. Well, all right. Well, enough about grit, flow, and hummus or pumice. What I don't really care about this head unit very much. I think it's like just another thing, and it could be interesting, but it doesn't do a whole lot for me. But I am interested in the new watch that they released.
Yes.
Dude, I saw some kind of thing where they're putting some sort of a plastic, like, what do they call that? The flight deck. But you
Yeah.
take your watch off and you slide it in a slot on your, it's like a plastic handlebar center. You slide your watch in there and then you clip that onto your handlebars. So they look aero. You got your Garmin watch in there.
Dude, that's actually kind of sick. I don't know how big
pretty neat.
That's pretty legit there.
And they're probably 3D printing it. Get Egan to print you one.
Egan doesn't like me very much, so he won't 3D print me anything.
Well, he didn't make me a seat post.
You know one of those features that's super underrated is, I don't know if you guys have a Garmin watch, is the flashlight.
Yeah.
No.
I cannot live without it.
Carter was here and he just got a new watch and he loves his flashlight. He was playing with his flashlight all weekend.
I
put a flashlight on.
Like, I'm getting to the age where I go into dark restaurants.
Exactly,
I can't
right?
read the menu, and I want to be that guy that's like, I'm like,
get the cell phone out,
like that. But if I can just do a little, if I can do a little one of these,
you look cool. You know, like, this guy is cool.
It's all right. I'm not that old. I'm hip. I'm cool.
There we go.
I don't know.
Huge freaking biggest display in the business.
So here's my thing, like with Garmin, like I have a Fenix 3 that's like 10 years old. Love that watch. Never sleep in it because it's like sleeping in a brick. And like I've hit myself in the head, I've hit my wife in the head, I've hit my dogs in the head. Like, so I never want to sleep in it because, like, even though it gives me a recovery score, which I don't believe in, like, I just don't like it. But like this thing being thinner, I could get behind a little bit.
Yeah.
More. Because otherwise, like, it's a risk to my marriage. I can't wear a big old Garmin watch.
I do the instinct.
Yeah, it looks big, dude.
It's an instinct.
You can clock somebody with that.
Yeah.
I sleep with my Epics every night.
It's the solar instinct. Yeah.
You don't sleep
every night. I do every night. I have not slept without my watch in I don't remember when.
Yeah.
See, but like I got a Whoop. Like, look how small that is.
No, I don't like the Whoop.
So
I tried the Whoop out, but Garmin's just way more functional.
You just like Garmin because it lies to you. It tells you should rest for 92 hours every time you go.
I don't listen to that part, but I do listen to the recovery part when it says, hey, your training readiness is, 95. It does give me some kind of placebo effect. I feel good, Then I go right hard.
Well, I like this new watch. I think it's cool. I think it is a total knockoff of Apple, and I'm curious to see like what the reviews are of it, honestly, because like I would buy one if it seems to be reasonable as far as functionality. I like the 8 days of battery life. That's kind of cool.
And it has pretty much everything like the Fenix has, like pretty much everything. The only thing I think that's weird to be missing is the ECG. You can take your ECG on your watch, and it doesn't have that. And for that price, most of their watches have that already.
What's the benefit of doing that? To tell you that you're like about to die?
Your sine wave is still good.
Yeah, like I really am asking this, like, honestly, like if I do an ECG on myself, what? Well, I guess that means I'm overheated and I'm shutting down.
It means you're overheated, man.
You better do a test, Arias.
Yeah. Arias, give your camera an ECG.
I need to get that camera that I sent you that link to. I need to get that ordered. But
yeah, I need to. I'm building a new podcast studio next week, guys. Just saying.
Whoa.
Yeah. Well, studio.
Whoa.
It's gonna be in my basement. It's probably gonna be worse, but at least it's a change. You know.
You gonna have lighting?
I will attempt to get some lighting. Yes, baby steps. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing over here.
I'm thinking like a
Don't put-
a furry couch, maybe. You know, for guests.
Don't put your Playboy magazine covers
Well,
up.
I'm thinking if I'd had it this week, Dan could have just like laid on the couch with some grapes. and
George
just, like,
Costanza
that's-
style.
Yeah, because
Man.
You'd be like
Yeah.
Jason on his couch.
Yeah.
Looks like it's a therapist's office.
You like my shirt?
That's because Jason takes foot pics on his couch too, and that's how he funds-
For
that's how
his
he funds
OnlyFans?
everything.
You
Yeah.
bring out the OnlyFans.
Very nice.
Is that how you paid for your new bike, your new mountain
That's how he
bike?
does it. That's how he does it.
Selling your sawdust out to other people?
$1 a pick.
Oh my goodness.
So where are you off to next? Are you going anywhere anytime soon, or are you home for a bit?
Going to actually next week we're going to the East Coast, New Hampshire.
Oh, you're coming out here now.
Yeah.
When are you stopping?
I don't know. We'll have to figure that out. Yeah. But yeah, we're heading out there. We're gonna be riding some new roads up there.
Well, the Timberleys came out last week, and we did some gravel. Derek and I saw a bear, saw an elk.
Ari, if you make it into Vermont, I have a great gravel route. That's like a multi-day route through Vermont. If you're, I mean, like it's literally like a hop, skip, and a jump. So if
I'll
you
be
want
down
it,
for
hit
that.
me up. My wife and I did like a tour. Amory and I did a tour, like between like we went from B&B to B&B to B&B and like rode gravel the whole time. It was
Nice.
yeah, it was so great. Yeah, so
That sounds like a real romantic getaway for sure.
I'm sure we got someone that listens that's from Vermont too. They put you up, give you some maple syrup.
That's right.
So you're
Hey.
taking the Bigfoot out there.
Taking the Bigfoot out there, and we're gonna go check out the roads and drive all over the place.
Will you do me a
Yeah.
favor? Will you? Are you gonna go to Vermont at all? Or are you just doing New Hampshire?
I don't know. Jake is from there, so he's gonna be taking us on some of his local cool routes and stuff.
All right.
So I'm not sure what all.
I'll text you on the side. There's a beer out there that I'd love if you got me a can or two of. So I'll text you on the side.
I got you, man. I got you. We'll take care of you.
Cool. What else we got? We didn't talk about SRAM's new 13 speed.
I don't know. I wanted to ask you guys about that.
I mean, we're an hour in. Do we want to get that deep into it at this point?
We still got 6 people watching. So I mean, we can wrap it up here.
No, let's. If we wanted to get into it, let's do it.
Yeah, let's talk about it. I'm curious. I don't know much about it.
I think it's a big counterpunch and a slap in the face to Shimano, thinking they're all cool releasing XTR.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like if you tell me that the new SRAM Force or Rival has the same braking power as the new SRAM Red, and it's UDH compatible, it's hard for me to go the Shimano route.
I don't know. Is there anything special with the 13 speed? Will that fit on a regular cassette?
Well, there
I
are
think
several
so.
cassette options, several
Is it all-
options.
Is
Like
it all?
there-
Is it like have to be boost or anything?
I
bet
don't
you
know.
everything's I bet everything's boost. For Explorer,
Is it all boost?
maybe not. I don't know.
So the problem with this is like you have 13 speeds, so you have tighter ranges, so you have more optimal cadence. But then you go 1046, man. Like I feel like that kind of limits you a little bit on those climbing gears.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. Like the idea of like I've always wanted this. Like when they've done 11 speed, 12 speed, 13 speed, it's all about getting like to the 12, to the 11, to the 10 cog. Like these like big old gears that 99% of us never ever use.
Yeah.
Like, tell me you can do something crazy around the top end to where like it's still efficient. I can like 11 speed for me, like or 11 tooth cog in the back with like a 40 like on gravel. I'm probably not
Oof.
using that much unless I'm racing. You know,
That's an expensive cassette.
how much is it? The red is
$600.
The Force
Yikes.
cassette is 600 or the red? Yeah, the red is.
Red.
Yeah. What's the Force cassette?
Let's see. Jesus. But still, even for the red, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, the cassette was the craziest thing. I couldn't believe it that it was $600. Like
That's,
So
like that's insane.
I'll find it.
so way back when we were doing, it was triples, 3 in the fight, the 22, 32, 46 or 44 tooth in the front. And then you do like a 9 speed in the back, and we got up to 27 gears. And I remember reading somewhere back then that, oh yeah, you got 27 gears, but 14 of them overlap. So, and that's when they started bumping up from the 10 to the 11 to the 12 speed, which the 12 speed's been pretty recently, but to get up to from 9 to 10, and they started doing 1 by 10, 1 by 11. So I don't know. 13 gears probably help a little bit.
I mean, I like the 13 gears, but I don't know. Like, it's more expensive, and then than my current. It's 12 speed, but then I have that 52 tooth cog in the back.
What's the biggest? What's the biggest? The biggest cog is still 52.
Yeah.
On 13 speeds, or just adding an extra gear in there?
On 13 speed is 46.
Okay, so they're just adding an extra cadence in there.
Yeah.
Or an extra gear cog.
Which, I feel like if you don't ride steep grade, that's fine. But
what's the front chain ring that they're?
Let me see if I can find it here. It's hard enough to find.
I mean, if you're on a 42 in the front and a 46 in the back, you're still less than 1-to-1. If you're looking for 1-to-1, I'm sure you can get a.
These guys must be able to have red stuff. I don't see any like only red is showing up. Only look at that, only red.
I feel like my bike had a 42 rear cassette on it once.
Yeah, I think this is 46. I think it's 46.
But yeah, I got a 46 on mine now, I think.
I don't know. Like, I think that's kind of limiting. Dan, what kind of gearing do you have on your regular mountain bike?
I've been on 11 speed SRAM for the whole time I've had it. I've upgraded derailleurs and shifters when they break, but I mean the chains are reasonable. The cassettes are pretty easy to find, and chain rings are pretty solid.
It's like 10 or 11, 52, 54, 51, 50.
I've got an 1142, and then I normally have like a 36 to a 32 chain ring. So it's not
on your mountain bike.
On a mountain bike, yeah.
Okay.
And I actually run basically the same range, the 1142 with a 42 tooth chain ring on my gravel bike, or 42 to 46.
46, big dog.
Well, there's just everything's flat, and
yeah, it's fair
in Minneapolis.
No,
so much pavement.
Yeah, it's so true. Then you get like caught in a tailwind, and you're like with a group. It's like the worst thing in the world. Aria, how much was the Force and the Rival cassette? Did you figure that out?
I couldn't find Force. I couldn't find Rival.
All right.
I don't know if they only have the red.
My guess is I bet the Force cassette's like between 350 and 400, and I bet the Rival cassette's like 250.
Yep.
I think that's but that's still crazy for a cassette.
That's still insane.
Yeah.
That's still insane.
If you think about it, how many miles are you going to get on a cassette?
Well,
2,000-3,000.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that, because like I do think it's crazy for the cost of a cassette, but dude, if you wax your chain, like you're gonna get thousands of miles.
All right, we're talking about an actual chain. We're not talking about some kind of thing.
Jason just got acclimated to a dropper.
Yeah, I'm a little worried about people thinking I'm waxing my chain here.
Yeah, I know. Like, yeah. No, seriously though. I mean, like, I actually would love to see the price of I could make a cassette, and a cassette lasts for a long time and a chain lasts for a long time with waxing, and then swap your chain rings as you need. I don't mind if the cost of the derailleur is more expensive and then the cost of the shifters are maybe a little less expensive, or if they're like backwards compatible with other things.
Depending on the terrain you live in and where you ride and how well you maintain your bike, you can get, in some cases, you can get an extra 2,000-3,000 miles out of
for sure
whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it comes down to keeping it clean. Honestly, like, it's probably the one thing the bike industry is doing well, which is that, like, listen, we give you nice stuff, keep it clean, it'll last.
Yeah. I know.
I'm a hypocrite in that regard, but I made Dan wash our bikes today.
What?
Yeah.
You make your guests do your cleaning? What?
Listen, I thought I had a broken collarbone, so
yeah.
I was
Wait a minute, you thought about it. You thought.
Yeah, I know. Listen,
and then all of a sudden you're not washing bikes. Dan, next time don't do it, man.
He's got to pay his
You're
money.
the guest.
He's the guest.
No, exactly. Yeah, we're getting housed. That's the least I can do to clean the bikes.
So I guess if you have a cassette, and let's say you get 3,000 miles out of a cassette, and let's say it's a Durace, and you spend $600 on it, right?
Red.
I'm just trying to figure out how much per mile you spent on a cassette.
3,600 miles for a $600 cassette.
Yeah, let's do that.
I mean,
that's
what is that? Is that 6 or 60?
$3 a mile? 30
No. 6 times 9 is 36, right? No, that's 54.
No, 6 times 6 36.
6 times 6. So 6, is it 60 miles or 6 miles or $6?
Jason's giving us some fake numbers.
No, those are real numbers. I think you get 3,600 miles out of a cassette if you're taking care of it.
3,600.
I think you can get more than that, really.
Oh yeah, no, I think you can get. Yeah, I think you can get it. I feel like you can get close to 7,000.
So
that's $6. That's $6.
Yes,
a mile.
A mile.
Yeah,
that's expensive. That's very expensive.
Yeah,
$6 a mile.
Yeah, so
that's
insane. That is a lot.
So if you get, let's say you double it,
the price of gas, like.
Oh, it's so true. Yeah, it's so true.
Say if you double it, and you get 7,000 miles.
So $3
a mile.
That's still very expensive, like insanely expensive.
That is kind of wild.
What about the chain?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, chain's like $60 for like or 85 bucks for a red chain, probably $60 for a force chain.
Man, and I thought the cyclists were supposed to be the green-minded, individuals, and we're here burning money like it's not tomorrow.
Yeah. I don't know. I think
it makes you think about the cost of a frame per mile and the cost of wheels.
Yes.
Because wheels will last you forever, frame will last you forever as long as you don't ride it like I do.
Yeah.
You'll be fine.
Crash in front of your guests.
I didn't. No, I did crash in front of them, but they did not see it. So.
Damn, man, that would have been.
You know what the sad part is I almost took the GoPro out today so I could film things, and this crash would have been.
I have not taught you anything.
You taught me not to film crashes, just film the fun parts, right?
You gotta film the crashes. Those are the money makers for sure.
All you would have heard me is I would have crashed. It would have been a jumble of pictures, and then you would have heard me just groaning, and then my
collarbone's broken. I think.
Yeah, it's pretty accurate, actually. Pretty accurate. Yeah, I know. It wasn't my finest moment, but what can you do?
I guess one thing we can think about before the next episode is what bar tape costs per mile.
Yeah.
Ooh. You get the new
Because
Silca-
right now,
get that new Silca Casino bar tape, and I don't care how much it costs per mile. The feeling I get from it is it's worth it.
do you have it on your bike?
Yeah, I got on my e-bike, I've got the 3.5 millimeter. So it's like riding on clouds, and then I've got
I've not heard about that.
I think it's like
Oh,
so there's the Silca Casino, and then there's the Silca.
Piloti is
Yeah.
1.85.
Yeah,
What
but
kind of
what you-
colors?
that's like the
what kind-
race bar tape. You get the casino at like 2.5 is legit. It's
That looks.
it's so good. Yeah.
What's the color range?
Oh, there's tons of colors.
It's hard
I
to
only see
find.
3 colors here.
No. You're not. That's the Piloti. Go to the casino.
I was thinking of doing a burgundy bar tape
Casino 2.5.
on my gravel bike.
Yeah. Scroll on down.
Oh, okay, yeah, they do have a lot.
All sorts of colors, Arias.
Yeah.
I don't know if we got a burgundy, but anyways, that bar tape is actually really sweet. Like it's the first bar tape I've ever used where I felt like I never had to wear gloves.
Really?
Yeah. It's like very.
It's that
very
grippy,
sticky.
huh?
Super sticky. Yeah, it's really good. I would highly recommend it.
This one looks pretty nice.
That's what I got.
How long have they had? I feel like I've never heard of it.
It's like about a year ago they started releasing it. I put it on. I have that exact bar tape on my road bike.
How does it wrap?
Very well.
Does it?
It's actually pretty stretchy. You need a cheater strip. Usually,
Overheating.
you need a cheater strip just because it's thicker. You know,
Yeah.
but the cheater strip like looks really good with it. I think it
Yeah.
wraps really well. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
I like the
There's-
lizard stuff.
Oh, there's one bar tape out there that it looks really cool. They've got awesome colors and stuff, but they're a pain in the ass to wrap. They don't stretch very well, and
Who's that?
I don't know. I forget actually.
Lizard
I've
skin.
done thousands of them. It's
Lizard
got-
skin.
Who?
That like
Lizard
specialized
skin?
Supercaz stuff.
Lizard skin's kind of tough, but they've got a couple of different. Yeah, the Super Cas. That's it.
The Supercaz is like if you get it wrapped right, it's great.
Yeah,
But it doesn't stretch well, and if you're going through big hoods, it's like super hard to wrap.
it's difficult to wrap.
I say this like I wrap my bars. I don't wrap my bars.
Yeah, I was gonna ask. I'm like,
No,
you sound
I
very confident
have
about it.
wrapped my bars, but no, I take it to my mechanic and I say, David, please wrap my bars for me.
Lizard skins has they've got a couple of bar tapes that are kind of difficult as well.
Yeah, they rip.
I used to have this one.
I feel like it rips. Like if I stretch it too much.
These are my favorite. These right here. The carbon.
Yeah, you do like those. You're all about that.
I like
Nothing
that.
wrong with it. Nothing wrong.
Makes me feel like a samurai. You know what I mean?
I have the white camo, gray camo on my road bike behind me.
This looks cool right here.
That's a Bontrager product, I believe.
Huh.
Can't
Cool.
find white camo out there anymore.
Not anymore. Back in my day, you could find it all over the place.
All over the place.
Yeah, not anymore. All right, guys, shall we close it down?
Yeah, dude, I gotta go ice my shoulder and decide if I've actually fractured something in my right, like fractured something or not.
Then we'll put you back together.
Dan said he's gonna rub my back.
Are
after this.
are you in a lot of pain?
So like I got good range of motion. The only pain that I have is like a lifting motion, like I was trying to put my pants on and I was spreading, spreading the band, and when I did that, I was like, that doesn't feel right. But like, I think I'm all right. Like I'm gonna wake up tomorrow. I think we're gonna go swimming at a blue hole and eat some brunch. Like we're not gonna ride tomorrow. I gotta take them to the airport, so we're gonna take it easy and see how it goes. But they beat me up a little bit. These Flatlanders from Iowa came here and just put me in my place.
Good job. Good job.
Man,
man.
that's how it's done. That's how it's done for sure.
Yeah.
No mercy.
Cool.
Sweep the leg, Danny.
Good times.
Awesome.
Good times. Well, thanks everyone. I appreciate
Yeah.
it. It was good talk. And
Thanks, Olive and Reeland.
yeah, Reeland.
Yes.
I'll remember it. Reeland folks, I apologize. I got a bad memory.
And Garmin for those new computers you're going to send us, right?
Yeah,
right?
the
Wink,
new
wink, wink.
watches and the new computers, Garmin.